Insomnia again from unrealtech.net. Today let's switch it up from blueprints and create the widget we require for the killboard, the actual killboard itself. We're gonna have to do a lot of widget work soon also for the main menu and stuff, for hosting a server list, class selector, character selector, team selection, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, we're gonna have a lot of widget stuff to do, but I want to knock out the scoreboard since that's what we're dealing with right now. And I got Fallout installing, so we're gonna find out if I become a gamer again or not. So anyways, before that happens, open up your project and let's get to it. I want to enable gamepad and keyboard support for the widgets too, so I've been keeping that in the back of my mind. Anyways, in our UI folder, we have our killboard, and we have our widget killboard, and we have our widget killboard row. And that was not the actual killboard, that would be our kill list. We should probably rename that. Let's call this kill list or kill record. I'm gonna call it kill record, because that's gonna confuse the heck out of me. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna right click and create a new folder, which we're gonna call kills board. How about kill death board? That makes a lot more sense. Pie menu, we don't need that right now. I'm gonna set that to yellow because we might be using that. And parents, I'm gonna leave that in green. And kill death board, I'm gonna set to green. Then we're gonna go into it, right click, user interface, widget blueprint. We're gonna need widget underscore KD board. I'm gonna go KD board like that. And we're gonna need a user interface widget W underscore KD board underscore or dot, no, that's not allowed, dot or underscore teams. And we're gonna need a user interface widget W underscore just like everything else, we're gonna need a KD board row underscore, we'll go row. So just like in server lists where we add a single row for a server, it works the exact same way. So let's open up the main board up and let's get working on that. There's gonna be lots of blueprinting going on, but lots of widget work to do also. So we'll start off in the designer and we will actually make it. So the first thing we're going to want is a size box so that we can set the size of the actual widget itself. We don't want it to be overly wide, so we want a width override of somewhere around, let's go 1024, because that'd be about the minimum resolution you'd ever, well, who uses that anymore? You could probably go like, I don't know, you could probably go yeah, we'll keep it at 1024 just because I like powers of 2. We want a minimum height of about 256, powers of 2. We want our max width to be 124. And well, we want our max width can be like 1920. And max height, 1024 kind of goes with 768. So we'll just set that to the max desired height. Well, you could probably go higher than that. You could probably go like 124 max desired height. That might work. Alright, so in our size box, let's start with an overlay. And inside of our overlay, first of all, yeah, no, that'll be fine. Let's add an image into it. Come on. Where the heck did you go now? Ugh. Too early again. Image. Yes, so our image we want to set to fill, and this way you can give it a background, but since we don't have a background, we're just going to give it a tint, which is going to be we'll go really dark. We're kind of going with this grayish blue black theme. I'll give it an alpha of about 0.33 maybe. No, that's too light. 0.66. Give it 2/3 alpha, just like so. I like that. That should be good. And then we need to start adding items into it. So what do we start with? We start with a vertical box. So add that to our overlay. Our vertical box will be over top of our image. And in our vertical box, we want to set that to fill. And then we need an overlay, because we want to overlay things. And in this overlay, we are going to add another vertical box. If I can find you. I switched screens, so I'm just kind of confused. It's just muscle memory where things are, you know. We're going to set this to align to the right top, and we're going to give it some padding. I'm just going to make sure that it's not right to the right edge. So we're going to give it like 4 pixels of padding on the right side. Something like that. Maybe more. I don't know. We'll see. That's a little small, 16. Yeah, that might work. Try it out. Just so it's not right at the edge. And yeah, that should be fine on its own, just like that. Then we're going to want to add a text box into the vertical box, followed by another text box. For the top one, we want to set it to align to the right, and that's fine just like so. The size is fine, everything's fine, but we need to create a binding. Let's do our curly brackets placeholder kind of thing, and we'll go map name here, and let's create binding called get map display name underscore text. Why not? That'll work just fine. So all we need to do here is right click and get game state. Oh, I'm almost getting used to it. Get game state and cast to it. Create a peer cast from it. I'm gonna get that right one of these lessons. And then we want to get name. Where are we? Get maps name. Then we just simply return it, since we created the same type of value. And as you can see, it is replicated. So the host will create a server, or yeah, like a server with a certain map, and it'll have a certain map name that the developer will set, and it will be displayed on the scoreboard up in the top, so we know what map we're playing. Kind of like Counter-Strike, but like Battlefield 2. So. Anyways, for our second block, it is fine just like itself, although we want to set it to text align right, and it's going to be the same thing, although it's just going to be that'd be function name, server name here. What server are we playing on? Bind, create binding, get server display name underscore text, something like that. I should probably make a naming convention, but whatever, it's all good. So what are we gonna do in here? Let's just copy it. Just get game state and create a peer cast from it. There, I can remember that. And we want to get server display name, or whatever we called it, get server's name, and it is replicated and it plugs right in because we made them both text, or we made it text and it takes in text. I'm gonna compile and save. So that takes care of those two. Next up, we are going to want to add a horizontal box into our vertical box, and in this horizontal box we are going to want to set it the same way, align right and no padding. And inside of this horizontal box, we want an image, where are you? Image, followed by text, like so. In this image, we're not gonna do anything yet, but we will do more. I think I'm actually gonna do 2 images, because they fit in there so well. Maybe 3 even. No, we'll just do 2. So this one will be image class. This one will be image team, and I'm not going to worry about those for right now, so I'm just going to set image team color and opacity to purplish, or rather that should be the tint, shouldn't it? Yes. Whoa, what happened? I totally set that. Try that again. Purple, purple, there we go. Kind of weird. And we'll set this one to purple. Alrighty. And we can tell the difference between them. Awesome. This one is going to be match time left. Yeah, fits pretty decently, but it'll be a lot shorter since it'll just be time. So maybe we should do something like 0 0 0 0 with like spaces or something. Yeah, that'll fit well. So on this one we want to bind, create binding, and you guessed it, get match time remaining text. And in this one, actually, that will be set itself. So rather, this is going to be oh, sorry, I'm thinking totally backwards. Yeah, that's fine on its own. Yeah, so let's go back. Thinking of something totally different. So in this one, all we need to do is just can we paste that again? Yep. Get game state, create a peer cast from it, and then we want to get time. What do we even call it? Get time remaining. And that is replicated, and we need to create, remember how we created the time setup for that other one? We need to do that again. So we want to go to text int, and we want to do this twice. Whoops. Shift W. Someone told me you can duplicate stuff with that. Is it Alt W? Shift W? Control W? Ah, Control W. Nice. And I don't have to waste my clipboard. So we want to edit these. We don't want to use grouping in either of them because it's a time board. Or sorry, we do want to use grouping on both of them. However, we want max digits here to be 2. And we want minimum because that is your seconds. And minutes, obviously, well, you never know how long it could be. So if you want to have 999 minutes, by all means, go for it. And then we will go to string. And let's throw an append node in there. Whoops, that's the wrong one. Append and add a pin. And let's go space, colon, space, and then plug this one in. Ooh, Unreal's lagging today. Alright. Like so. I like how neat and tidy these tend to sit. I love it. Perfect. Let's bring this up. Yeah. Beautiful. We'll return that. Alrighty. So that will display our time remaining. Okay, I totally screwed up my mouse maybe. Alright, compile, save. While we're at it, what I was doing and totally forgot was this horizontal box is it's horizontal box match time. So we want to set its visibility. If there's no match time, we might as well hide it. So let's bind, create binding. This is get match time box visibility, or rather, I guess it'd be set. No, get. I'll just go match time box visibility. So we are returning a value, an eSlate visibility value, and that one we need to do a select, just like we've been doing. So we want to do a select. This gives us option 1 and 0. So 0 is going to be collapsed, totally gone, and true is going to be hit test invisible. It's there, but we can't click on it. And our index, we want to be a boolean, of course. We want to check if something is greater than, an integer is greater than 0. And what is that? It's going to be, if we go back, our game state, time remaining. If that is greater than 0, show the time. If the match time has elapsed, hide that sucker. Because then you don't have a timer sitting there giving you weird stuff or 0-0 at the end of a match in post or pre-game, for example. Alrighty. Did I finish that? Yeah, that works. But yeah, it's bound to. Okay, cool. What should we do next? We're gonna need another vertical box on our overlay. There you are. So in our overlay, add another vertical box. Should call this one right here a vertical box. Let's go game details, and if we get rid of that underscore, it'll show up in the list. Vertical box game details. Alright, now this one. In this vertical box, we want it to vertically align bottom and horizontal alignment to the left. And we want, the same way we put that 16 pixels from the right, we want this 16 pixels from the left. Like so. And in this one, all we are going to do is add a single text box. Text box. Yeah, text box. For some reason I thought box wasn't a word. Text block. That's what was screwing me. We want this a lot bigger, something like, whoa, not that big, something like 36 maybe. Even that looks a little small. 42, one of those standard sizes. And I thought I totally set this. Maybe that was the other one. Vertically align bottom and align left. And we need to put our placeholder stuff. So curly bracket, game mode here. So whether it's free for all or vehicles only or whatever game modes we end up coming up with in the end. So let's create a binding called game mode display name underscore text, and it's not going to be very hard. You guessed it. We just paste this stuff in here and we get game mode real name. So it's not game mode 13 or whatever. It's an actual assigned name that we set. Alright, just like so. Compile F7, Control S, save, back to the designer. So our game mode will go there, and now we're gonna need, still in our overlay, a horizontal box. So in our overlay, this could just be a vertical box GM for game mode. Kind of just make it, you know, we could clean this up like so. I like it. Horizontal box in our overlay. This one we want to set to center, and by default it's going to be hidden, and inside of it we need to hide some stuff, and we need to hide 3 text blocks. One, can I do it here? Shift W? No. Control C, Control V, Control C, Control V. 3 text blocks. Boom, boom, boom. And what these are going to have in them are a bunch of information which we are going to leave for now. So we'll just make sure that's hidden, and the first text block I want to set to auto and make sure it's aligned to the right, and that should do it, I think. And the last one, or the middle one, sorry, make sure it's set to fill, and that will be good on its own, and the last one align to the right as well, or sorry, to the left, and set to, oh, I'm totally on the wrong one. So this one's fill and fill, and this one's left. So right, fill, left. So they'll kind of come in on each other. So you could put something in here if you wanted. I'm going to leave them blank so that they don't confuse me. But we know they're there because of those that little box. Alright, so we will collapse that for now. Next, we need a winner box. So let's create a vertical box inside of, not our overlay, but rather our vertical box. Vertical box, where are you? Inside of a vertical box, yes. So this is a vertical box winner. And this will display the winner, because we'll use this scoreboard not only during the game but after a game. So this will show us the winner. So in here we want an image to show their team, or if you go complex enough, or if we go complex enough and make like avatars, we could show their avatar, maybe like a class avatar or something. I don't know. We can come up with it as we go. And let's give it a Y value a lot shorter, something like 8. And then we need a text box in there, text block, keep confusing those. And let's add our curly bracket placeholder stuff again, and this will be winner's name. And we want to center this. No padding, good. Let's make it a little bigger, like 32. That'll work just fine, I'm sure. A little bit smaller than the game mode, looks good to me. And we need to create binding. We want to get winner's name underscore text. Make sure that's open. And this one is a little bit more complex, but we can still copy and paste our game state pair cast. Let's take this node all the way over. And so what we need to do is, what do we got so far? Do we have tied? Yes, get B was match tied. That is important first of all. Do we have a winner player state yet? No. Get winning player. Yes, we do. Get winning player. So that is a player state. What player state was the winner? We also want to get teams data. That one I can remember because we've done quite a bit of work with it. And I don't think we've done this one so far. Team. Hey, get winning team number. Perfect. We did make it. We've been getting a lot done. And we also need to check one more. B is team game. Perfect. As you can see, these are all replicated. So, what's the best way to do this? Let's see. Let's organize all these first. Something like, I don't know. Put them together nicely, maybe. Leave some space. Yeah, let's leave some space. Alright. Bring them over. We'll leave it like that. Good enough. Alright, so first of all we need to check, let's put a branch in. Actually, I'm just going to move this return node out of the way like I usually do. We need, first of all, do a branch. We need to check a condition. Was the match tied? So we do and. So was the match tied? But if the match was tied, is there still a winning player? So we want to do an is valid, the pure function version that returns a boolean. So was the match tied and is there a valid winning player? rewrote that. So let's bring this up. My mouse is acting weird today. We're gonna need some local variables. This is gonna be winning name text and L underscore because it's a local. Gotta get in that habit, and it's gonna be text. I like it. And we need to give it a default like we don't know the winner this match. Alright, so if true, then we set this text, but we need to format it. Formatting text, very, very useful. So we want to do winning player, and if you put in the curly brackets, remember it makes a little input for you, almost like an expose on spawn. Space has won the round. Let's make it shorter. Just go won the round. And the winning player is name is gonna come from a little setup. We're gonna do a select node. This isn't gonna fit in here at all. Select. And our index is going to be a wild card, and that is going to be, is it a team game? If it is, then we want to get the team name. So we need to get teams data and do an array get. We need to get the winning team number, and then we need to get their name. Get team's name. I should have set that as a text, not as a string. Now this is just going to be ugly. And that will go into true. If it is a team game, it'll say team whatever their name is, team blue and red. Team blue won the round. If false, then we just need to get we should go off of winning player. That's a player state. Every player state, of course, has the default value of player's name. Player name. That is the default variable, which comes from the online subsystem. So if false, if it is not a team game, then it just, if it's that'd be like just a regular deathmatch or a free for all, then it will say like Insomnia won the round or whatever. So like that. So we set the winning name text to that. And once we do that, we can finally return. Can't see on this monitor very well. I should probably switch back. And what are we going to return? Our local variable. So if false, however, if the match wasn't tied or if the winning player was not valid, then we need to go, then we need to go into another check, another branch, and this time we're going to check again if the match was tied. Let's see if I can rewrite this. I didn't want to bring it out twice, that just seems silly to me. That'll work. It's a little bit ugly, but I was considering putting this one up, but that doesn't really work either. So we'll leave it like that. So if the match was tied, then we set this. So hold down Alt and drag it in. We set the winning name text to round has ended in a total tie. I guess I should add the exclamation mark just like the other one. And what do we do then? We return. If false, then we just return. And that will say we have no idea who the hell the winner is. Because basically, There's no valid winning player. The match wasn't tied. And it checked again, and it wasn't tied. And we just have no idea what's going on, so we just give it the default value. So that should do it for that. So that'll be the winner. And we can add in class and team colors to these images afterwards. I think that would look quite nice. Let's copy this image and paste it into the vertical box, probably into this vertical box up here, like so. Yes, I like that. Let's make this one a little bit bigger, like 16. I want to set these to like black too for now. So I'm just gonna set their color on opacity. Later we will set it up based on team and class, something like that. I'm gonna set this one to like 12, or you know what, I'm gonna go 8 and 12. Alrighty, then we need one last thing, which is a vertical box, which we are gonna use similarly to a scroll box. We just don't need the scrolls, the scroll bars. So we're gonna add that to our vertical box. So the last thing in this one, and this vertical box we want to set to fill. This will take up the rest of the room. And yeah, that'll be it. We need to give it a name and make sure it's a variable though. So this will be a vertical box teams container. And make sure it is a variable. So F7 and save. And we can get a preview of what it'll look like if we change to desired. So it'll look something like this, and then all the people's names will get added in there. So we might want it a little bit different size, but that'll work for now. So yeah, we'll leave it like that. Let's go to the graph and do some blueprinting. We're gonna need a little bit. So let's start in the event graph. I'm gonna close all the other tabs, and I really have bad backlighting's bad on this monitor. So we're gonna want to start on event construct. So when this widget is created. And what we want to do is we want to check for teams. So do I have game state handy? No, let's just do it then. So we get our game state, and we're gonna create a peer cast to it. Hey, I got it that time. And then we're gonna get our teams data. Now we're gonna get its length. And if its length is double equal, we're comparing, is equal to 0, then we go into a branch. So if there's no teams when this scoreboard is created at the beginning of the game or at match end, etc., then we want to keep checking for teams. So we do a delay. So if it's equal to 0, true, then let's keep checking every half a second. And then just loop back around and check, is the length still equal to 0? Is there still no teams? Until we finally get a team. This prevents errors where it's looking for teams, it doesn't find any, so it just says, okay, we're not going to display any team information, no player information, no class information, etc. So that's what that prevents. Alrighty. So I don't like the way they make the curved things. You can edit it, but whatever. Anyways, if false though, if there is a team, then let's make a nice clean reroute. And we're gonna want our teams data. like so. We're going to want to do a for each loop of that array. And that can be a lot cleaner. And our loop body is going to consist of creating a widget. And that widget is going to be our widget. Where is it? Keyboard teams. So the list of all the teams, and the owning player needs to be get owning player, since we're replicating everything in here, or since we have so much replicated information, and make sure that this widget is owned by the local player. We need to take the array index. We need to create a variable in here. So let's quickly go into that widget and go to the graph, and let's create the variable that we need, which is the team number, and that needs to be exposed on spawn. So we'll create a variable. It'll be team number, and it's going to be an integer, and it's going to be editable and exposed on spawn, and I think that should do it. And make sure there's a default value of 0. Default team value of 0. Okay, perfect. Save. Now we can go back, and that should be, there we go, it's exposed on spawn. Just plug that into the array index, and we're ready to rock and roll. See if we can fit this in there. Oh yeah, nice. Something like that'll work. Go down a bit, but that wouldn't really work. Whatever. Anyway, so yeah, that is that. Well, sort of. What we need to do then is we need to take our vertical blocks team container, and we need to add child. Target is panel widget. Yes, just like so. And the content is going to be whatever is in that widget. And that should be that. Yes, I think that is the only one we are missing. Oh, I think I know we're missing something here. We don't need to show the winner's name during the game, obviously. That would not make sense at all. So that that needs to be set up. The vertical box here, its visibility needs to be bound. So create binding, and this is going to be winner's name underscore visibility. And so it'll be very similar to the other one we created, so much so, where is that? I'm just going to copy this and paste it. Except we're not going to be checking for time remaining. We're going to be checking for winning player. Get winning player. We want to make sure it's valid, so we want to do a peer is valid check with a Boolean output. And if the winning player is valid, or if the match tied, if the match was tied, if one of these is true, then we show it. Otherwise, it stays hidden. So during the game, for example. So that can be compiled and saved, and I think we've got it all now. So let's move on to the widget that we are creating and filling in this place here. That is the teams list. So let's start with the designer. This one gets a lot more complicated. We're probably gonna have to put it into multiple parts. So let's start with I guess we'll start from the top. We'll start with a vertical box. Change its hierarchy so I can see more. Something like that, maybe. I don't know. We don't need input. That's what's killing me. So we'll start with a vertical box, and inside of that vertical box we are going to put a size box for the same reasons as before. And let's take this vertical box. Actually, let's take the size box. This will be size box header. This is gonna be where it shows your name, what team and class you are, and how many kills you have. Or sorry, it's gonna show the team you're on, the team color or image, how many kills the team has, and then it's gonna show every single player's name, ping, kills, and deaths. So to do that, we're gonna start off. We need a height override. We want this to be 96 pixels high. And we want a custom size on this. So we want a width of what did we set the other one to? 1024, I think. And the height we set to 256, I believe. So like show. Now the team information here doesn't always need to be seen, or yeah, it doesn't always need to be seen. I want to call this size box teams header, and it needs to be a variable. We're going to use it. But yeah, it doesn't always need to be seen. So let's bind the visibility, and we're going to call this we're going to call this teams header underscore visibility. And so we're just going to paste what we had before there because it's extremely similar. It's where it's great that we did all that setup in the game state and player state and game mode, because all this stuff starts to come together easier. We don't have to go back and forth between classes. So we just need to get B is team game, and that is the index, and that tells it if it's collapsed or if it's visible. So back to the designer. Now we can actually well, we don't now, but now we can start filling it with some information. So we're gonna start with an overlay. Overlay. And that is fine just on its own. Then we're gonna want an image in the overlay. That'll be this is gonna be a variable as well, which is gonna be teams header BG background, and we want to set it to fill, and we want to give it a default value of something very transparent. So let's go with 0.33, and again kind of that dark gray, but it's gonna have a color if we have a team color. So let's create a binding called we'll go get team color underscore team headers BG color opacity. Actually, I don't want to put the underscore because that's confusing. Get team color teams header BG color opacity. So we're gonna get the team's color because every team has a color, of course, because we set that up. Well, we set it up, and so we need to use it in area. So we want to do a select color. And what colors do we want to select between? Well, we want to this will be the team's color, and this will be just a default. So we'll just go something I guess totally transparent, or we'll just go like kind of a light gray. A little bit, let's go 0.66 opacity, something like that. Yeah, I like that. A8 over and over and over. Perfect. I like that value. And the way to pick it, we're gonna get our game state with our peer cast. I should just copy that. We're gonna get B is team game and plug it into an AND Boolean node, and I'm a sucker for everything being clean, so it's got to be in the bottom, but it doesn't have to be, and that will plug into there. And the other thing we're gonna check, I don't think, no, we don't have this yet. So we need to create a function. So create a function called get team info. Yes. And so this will have a local variable called L underscore team data, and this will be of type BP underscore what do we call it, teams data reference, just like so. Perfect. And so we're gonna start off with what we just did. We're gonna get the game state and do an impeer cast. Can't do a peer cast in this instance. Connect those suckers up. And we want to get from the return value, we want to get teams data. And we want to get the length. How many teams do we have? And if it is greater than 0, we go into a branch based off of the execution pin. We also need to do our team number. Remember, that's exposed on spawn. And we need to do an array get. So we need to get whatever team number we're displaying. We need to get it out of the team's data array from the game state. So whatever team you're on, this will show, or whatever, yeah, because of whatever team number is getting picked, it will show the team information. We need to do a get for that, and then we need to set out team info on true. So if there is more than one team, or more than 0 teams, so if there's one team at the very least, then we're going to set that to whatever team number we need to. If false, we go straight to, let's see, reroute, we go slow, yeah, well, we go right to a return node, exactly. Thanks, Unreal, you read my mind for the first time ever. As well, if the cast fails, we just go straight to a return. The return node, though, however, needs some output. We need a BP teams data reference, which is going to be the team info, or team data, I guess we're calling it. And Boolean. So this will be similar to a cast, because this is going to be a pure constant function. B was successful. And so, well, we're going to obviously output our L local team data to here. We also need to return this, like so. So I'm going to bring that up there. And to check if this whole setup was successful, all we need to do is make sure this is valid. So we do a peer is valid with Boolean output and plug it into there. And this function, so to select it, needs to be peer and constant. So I'm going to compile and save while I'm at it. Now we can go back to get team color. All we do is get team info and teams data. We get team color, plug it into the top one. So red will show red, blue will show blue, for example. And was successful goes into the AND node. So it has to be able to successfully get the team info, and it has to be a team game, not a free-for-all or just a regular death match or whatever. And then it'll show the team color, otherwise it'll just show a default kind of gray. So there, that is that. We will compile and save. We can go back to the designer now. So next we're going to want to add a vertical box to our overlay. And set it to fill that entire area. Alrighty, and then we're going to want a little horizontal box like so, and we want to set this to vertically align center and fill like so. Yep, that'll work. And inside of it, we are gonna first of all put an image. This is gonna be image team logo, or whatever we called it. I can't remember. And let's make this bigger. Let's go like twice the size, 64 times 64. So we left room for that. And we're gonna need to obviously get the team's logo, and let's make sure it's not right to the side, so let's give it some padding. So we set 16 before from the left and right side, so let's do the same, 16 pixels from the left. So bind the brush, create binding, and this will be get team logo underscore what did we call this? Image team logo brush. Brush. Yeah, we'll do that. So return node, we need to make a slate brush. So just drag off and type make. And we're gonna need a local variable. Expand this out. The image size is not 32 by 32. It is 64 by 64. So we want to create a local variable called L underscore teams logo, which is going to be of type texture 2D. So plug that into there. We should probably give it a default value, but it's fine. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get teams info, and we even give each team a logo. I think we just gave them, yeah, get team icon right there. Perfect. So we're gonna get that. We also are gonna create a branch to make sure that was successful. And if it was, we're going to set the team logo to whatever the team icon is for that team's info. If true, if it was successful, and then we're going to return. If it was not successful, then we're just going to return nothing. So we need to return something, otherwise we get access none ears and stuff like that. Alrighty, cool. We can bring that back up and go like so. Probably even just plug it into there. But that has led to errors in the past, so I'm not going to. Alright, back to the designer. That's perfect. We can give it a default if we want. I don't think we created any team logos. Yeah, just the classes. So I'm just going to use the UE4 card. Whoa, 64 by 64. There we go. Alright. Cool. And then we need to get the team name. Team red, team blue. If you end up making different teams, we need that information. So we are going to add a text block into there, into our horizontal box. And that needs to be, that should be fine on its own, but it needs to be bigger. Let's go to like 32. We need to set it so it's centered. 34? Probably like 40. Yeah, 42. Oh, that's too far. Now the image is getting smaller. 41. 40. 39. That's not doing anything. 40. That's not doing anything. 41. So 40 exactly. Alright, cool. And let's make sure it's got some padding away from the image. Like 8 pixels. Cool. That looks nice. And this is going to be our curly bracket placeholder, team name. And let's do what we do best and create a binding. This is going to be get team name underscore team name text, or I guess just text. I'm not really keeping a solid naming convention here, so this is gonna be pretty easy. All we're gonna do is get team info. Whoa, wrong one. Get team info, and off of team data, everything's lagging today. We're gonna get team. Where are you? Team's name. We're gonna do a select though, because what if the team doesn't have a name? Or what if this isn't successful? So if it's successful, true, then we'll just output the name. If it's not successful, then we're just gonna output nothing. So it'll just show nothing. So that is good there. Then we want to add another horizontal box into our horizontal box. And we want to set it to fill and align right, so it's on the other side, and vertically align center. And we want it padded from the right, 16 pixels, just like before, so that everything fits together nicely. And this will be the team's kills. So first of all, let's add 3 text boxes. 1, 2, whoa, 2, oh come on, 2, okay fine, 2, 3. So the very first one is fine like that, fine like that. So this one will just be kills colon space, and gotta size this up. What do we figure? I guess 40. It doesn't have to be as big. We can make it smaller. We can make it like 32 maybe. And yeah, that should do it. Oh, and we want to align to the right. Cool. Alright, for the next one, actually we can just delete the next one. Yeah, we don't need it. And the last one is the actual number of kills. This will be text block team kills. Be more of a, yeah. Okay, make sure that's a variable. And just let's set the size. What was this? 32. Let's go with 32. Make sure it's bound to the right, or set to the right. And we need to make a placeholder. Say 99. Yeah, we'll go like that. Bind, create binding. This is gonna be get team kills text. And so all we're gonna do is, you guessed it, call in our little friend function get team info, and we want to get the number of kills. Remember, we added in that replicated variable, and we're gonna need a local variable called L_kills, and it's gonna be of type integer, just like so. And we're gonna want to set it, so we're gonna need a branch, and that branch again is, was this a successful cast? If true, we set kills to however many kills the team has. Of course, that accounts for friendly fire and everything. Then we return. If it's not, then we just return. Making sure we have redundancy. We don't want bugs. And then we simply return our kills. Like so. And default values should be just fine. Cool. Alright. Let's compile and save while we're at it. Go back to the designer. Now we can add yeah, no, I should do it. I'm gonna add an image here. Where are you? An image into the horizontal vertical box, and I'm gonna set this to have a Y value of like 2 pixels, 3, 4, And the color and opacity, let's make it black like the other ones, just to split things up a bit. Yeah, that'll work. And make sure it is vertically aligned bottom. Cool. Alright. Yeah, that'll work. Next up, so we have our size box teams header done. Next up, we want an overlay. Overlay. Makes me think of like Mexican songs for some reason today. In our vertical box. And in this overlay, we want to add an image. Why can I never find that image? There we are. And this is just gonna be image teams list BG. And it is going to be set to fill the entire area, and the color and opacity we're going to bind to get team's color, just like we did before. So this will be the same color as above here. And let's give it a default tint, the same, what was that, like A8, 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 A8. Perfect. 0.66. Let's go a little bit lighter or darker. Let's go a little bit darker and a little bit more transparent. 0.33. Cool. Yeah. That'll work. Our overlay, I forgot. No, that'll work. Autofill. Perfect. Okay, cool. Yeah. So, after that, let's add a vertical box into our overlay. Not a wrap box, not a uniform grid panel. There we go. Everything's lagging. And we want to set this to fill and fill. And in this vertical box, we want to add an overlay. And in this overlay, we want to add a size box for its data, so that nothing freaks out, like so. And this will be set to fill and fill. And we want to give it a height of like 32 pixels. How big is this? That fits perfect. What if I set it to 40? Would that still fit? Yeah, it still would. Let's go 32. Yeah, that'll work. So in here, we are first of all going to add a horizontal box, because we need to display information horizontally. And it's fine on its own. Then we need to add a size box. And the size box is going to be aligned to the right and vertically aligned to the center. And it needs a width and height override, something width of like, let's start with like 96. Ooh, maybe yeah, we'll try that. And we want it the same size, 32, the height. Inside of that size box, we want a text box. Text block. I keep mixing those up, don't I? And we need this to fit in there perfectly centered. Well, we can do that with vertically aligned center and aligned to the right. Yes, and this will contain the text ping. Yeah. And we'll just fill it, set the size till it fits. So something like 20, it looks like. 2, 21, 20, 19. Looks like 19, 20, somewhere in there. Looks a little big. 16, but how does that look? Yeah, I like that better. And then, we're going to want an image. Image, where are you? Never find that today. Inside of a horizontal box, and we want to give it an X value of like 4 pixels, same as the other one, and the same color and opacity, black. And yeah, then we just want to copy ping. So let's copy that and paste it into our horizontal box. And this we want to set to fill with a value of around 5 or so. We'll try maybe 6. And we want it to horizontally align fill but be centered vertically. And this will contain the text layer. And that should be totally fine all on its own. Left, yep, looks good. Then we're gonna want another image. Where are you? In our horizontal box. And this one, let's give it 2 pixels of left padding. And horizontally align center, and give it an X width of 4 and a value of black. Let's see how that looks. Looks fine. We'll see how it ends up looking in the end. We need a size box again next in our horizontal box. And this is going to be our kills size box. So this will be size box kills. See how laggy it is? Maybe you guys can't see that. Align to the right, vertically align center, width and height override of 96 and 32, same as before. And in there we add a text block. There we go, I got a text block, not text box. And it's gonna have the same as these basically. We're gonna go for a size of 19, I think we decided fit, or no, 16 was it? Yeah, 16. And we want it to be aligned to the right and vertically aligned center, and this will be kills, and yeah, that'll work. Then we need another image. Just copy this one because it's the exact same thing in our horizontal box, like so. Image 2 auto, yep. Boop doop doop, looks good. Boop doop doop. Then one more size box. Let's just copy this one. Copy into our horizontal box, paste, and this one is deaths. And then let's add one more image. Copy this one again because it's the exact same into the horizontal box, like so. And then outside of the horizontal box, in the size box, or in the overlay rather, let's copy this one from up here. So copy, close this all out again, into our overlay, paste, like so. Cool. One thing I'm not liking is right here. That is not fitting so well. What did I do wrong? I guess I just put a space after ping and a space before player. I guess that would work. Or we could add spacers, but that's just more since these are static, so whatever. Kills and deaths looks fine to me. Yes, quite happy with that. Maybe deaths should be aligned to the left. Alright, so now we need to fill out well, we don't need to fill out because this will be filled with our next widget, the rows. So now all we need to do is add an overlay to our vertical box. One more. So overlay to our vertical box underneath the image, that is. Let's call this overlay like overlay, let's call it like text or info panel, maybe, I don't know. Overlay kill death ping player, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. And this one will be overlay player, or just call it rows, overlay rows. Alright, so it needs a size box just like the rest of them, and that size box is going to be set to fill, except it needs to be on the overlay like so, and we want a minimum desired height of 96. Something is telling me that is not right. Overlay vertical box like so. Yeah. Oh wait. Yeah, no, that should be right. Vertical box. Overlay. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Yeah. Oh, 94, 96. Alrighty. And something is not looking right to me. That image is somehow getting moved when it shouldn't be. It's like things are in the wrong order or something. Oh, you know what? This has to be in the vertical box, I think. Yes, there we go. Okay, perfect. Now we're good to go. Alright, back to size box. All we need to do is add a vertical box, just like we were doing before. These are getting added as a children. We're now adding children to this one. So this is going to be vertical box rows container. Make sure that's a variable because we're going to be adding children to it. And that is that. Probably make it a bit smaller, like 187, I guess, but I like whole numbers. I'm sure that'll work just fine. So we will compile and save that. Now we just need to do a bit of blueprinting. Let's go into the graph. Let's go into the event graph, like so. And we need event tick. And every tick, we need to go into a branch. We need to check, is this visible? If it's not visible, there's no reason to tick. So is visible. So is this widget being shown right now? So basically, is the player showing it, or is it being shown in pre or post game? If it's not, well, why waste the performance? If it is, then we're going to do a function called update rows. And we're going to call that. Go back to the event graph and call it. Only if true, though. Only if this is visible. And so let's quickly go through that function. It's not going to be fun. So start with get game state. I got it right this time. And an impure cast. God, Unreal is lagging for some reason. Like, do I have this on real time? No. Weird. Something on real time. Something, I don't know, whatever. Anyways, cast, and then we want to remember we made those useful functions, KD ratio. We want to get the player states, we want to get, not sort, we want to get them. And the team number is team number. that one we created that we expose on spawn. Then we're going to need to go into a sequence. And we're going to want to take this array and we're going to need the length. How many players are there? How many player states are there that have a ranking, basically? We need to check, so we need to go into a branch first of all. And what we're going to check is the number of player states that have a kill death ranking not equal to the number of children in vertical box rows container. We want to get children count, get child count. There we go, get children count. If those two numbers are not equal, that's our condition. Maybe I can fit this in there or something. I like that better yet. We're also going to check if, so might as well while we're here, we're also going to check if the children count, or we're going to check, sorry, if the length is greater than the number of children. And we're also going to get the number, so the length, the number of player states minus the children count. And that's going to go into a for loop. And this is going to be the last index. The first index is going to be 1. And there's going to be another branch after here, which uses this as the condition. So true plugs into there. False is going to go into this for loop. True, however, is going to go into our create widget. And that is going to be our row. KD board row. And we need to create some variables to expose on spawn again. Maybe not. Should be fine. And then take the return value and add child. I think we can't do that right from here. We need to get the vertical box rows container first and then add child panel widget. The content is the return value. So we add a row of each player and their ping, their name, their kills, their deaths, etc. As long as these conditions are true. So as long as the children count is greater than, or as long as there's more players than there is children, or the number of player states is not equal to the number of children. Otherwise, we go to this for loop, which removes children. So we remove child at. And the index is going to be the row container right there. We want to get its children count again, get child count. I'm going to subtract 1 from that since it's 1 based, not 0 based. That's the index, and the target is the vertical box rows container. Like so or something. Alright, that'll work good enough for me. Good enough. So that's sequence part 1. So what we do there is make sure we'll go KD board has the correct number of rows to match the number of players, aka player states. Alrighty, so finish this one up. I haven't had my coffee yet. So the next sequence portion is going to go into a for each loop. So for each, God, everything's lagging, and the array is going to be our player states listed by kill death ratio. And so this one will be a lot shorter, I promise you, or sort of, for now it will be anyway. All we need to do is cast to widget row, what do we call it, KD board row, and we're going to cast into it the row contain, that one, vertical box row container. We're going to get child at, the index is going to be the array index, and we're going to cast whatever is in there into that widget class. And the array element, let's rewrote that because we're going to need to do a lot of that. We're going to need to, might as well rewrote it again. We're going to need the player name, the default, what do you call it, a default variable. We're going to need kills. We're going to need deaths. And we're going to need their ping. And that's, again, just a default variable that the online subsystem allows you to use. Alright, so we'll be using all 4 of those to update our information on each player. And we're going to want to get owning player. Get owning player. So whoever owns this scoreboard, we want to get their player state, get player state, since that returns a controller. And we're going to want to check if it's equal, and it needs to be on the bottom, if it's equal to the array index. So basically, are we iterating through ourselves? And if we are, then it'll be we are the local player. But we haven't created that function yet to put all this information into the row because that comes in our row widget, which we haven't created yet. Although just for continuity's sake, so that we can finish up that widget, let's just quickly create that function. So open up the row widget and create a function called update player row data, and it's gonna have a bunch of inputs. It's gonna have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I think. So we're gonna have, first of all, text, which is gonna be the player name. We're gonna have an integer, which is gonna be kill, another integer too, kills followed by deaths. We're gonna have a byte, which will be a ping. If you notice, the ping default variable is a byte, and then we're gonna have a boolean, which is b is local player, which is that check where we check if we're looping through ourselves. And so what this function is gonna do is, oh, I put it on the return. Oh, god damn it! There's no way to move them either. Son of a. Let's do that again. And delete all these. Don't need them. God damn it. Where's ping? Ping. Boolean. B is local player. integer and integer, and text, player name, kills, deaths. There we go. Alright, that's better. That's more like it. So what we need to do is create those variables here too. So one variable, b is local player, and these all need to be editable and exposed on spawn. And then we're gonna need one more, the player name, which will be text, editable, expose on spawn, and it needs to be transient, 0 filled at load. I think the default value is just fine. And then we need the ping, which is the same deal, so let's duplicate it, call it ping, and just turn it into a byte. Then we're gonna need kills and deaths, which again are the same thing, so let's just duplicate kills, duplicate deaths, and let's just set those to integers using that little trick I found, and then we just need to set those. So set player name, set kills, set deaths, next up is ping, and then b is local player. So we just set these in one big row. So just connect the dots. Like so. Alright, delete the return node, F7, compile and save. Let's go back to our teams. Now we can finish this off. So all we need to do is off of that row widget with our child casted in from our vertical box rows container, we just need to update data. What do you call it? Update player row data. There we go. So like so, the target is that. Player's name is player's name. Kills, deaths, connect the dots. Ping. B is local player. Let's clean this up a little bit. This can probably come up. All of this. Maybe not that much. We'll sneak that in there like that. This can come up probably. Yeah, we'll go like this. And then we'll just rewrote this nicely. Alright, cool. So this updates each player states, kills, deaths, name, and ping at a set interval. Alright, so I believe that is that. So F7 to compile, Control S. Held that perfect. So I think we are good to go. So we'll finish up the actual player row in the next one. It's actually not hard. It's actually very easy. I don't know. Maybe we should just finish it. Yeah, let's finish it. Screw it. Might as well get them all done at once. So let's start here, and we'll start with an overlay. We already have that. All those variables, so we'll start with an overlay, and we want to set this to desired as well. Then we want an image. It's going to be our background, which we can of course replace it, or you can replace it anytime. I'm just going to tint this to be kind of our gray color somewhere in there. And I'm going to turn the opacity down to, let's go 50%. And we need to bind color and opacity to get row BG color opacity. One of the few functions that we will need, and this is the hardest one, so let's just get it over with. We're gonna do a select color. A is gonna be a tough one, but B is just gonna, we'll just do we'll just make it less opaque, so we'll just go white at like 0.2. And B pick A is just gonna be if we're the local player. If we're the local player, then it's basically gonna highlight us, so we're gonna be able to see ourselves in the rows. But this also sets up the rows nicely. So we need to take A and we need to do a linear color times linear color, and we want to multiply the input by white at 0.75 opacity, so that'll really contrast with us. Then we want to do a hue saturation value to RGB, so that's HSV to RGB to create the input color, and we're going to want an RGB to HSV, and we're just going to take the hue and we're going to add float plus float. We're going to add 180. So basically, if you take 180. If you take the hue, I guess it's if you take the hue of 0 and if you add 180, you can see you get that color. If it's red and you add 180, 181, you get that color. If it's, if it's 77 plus 180, you get that color. So, but then we're going to do a majolo, so then we're going to get its remainder of 360, because your hue goes from 0 to 360. So it'll be the remainder of 360 for our hue. And then the saturation value and alpha all stay the same. And you'll see what this looks like when it's done. It'll be pretty cool looking. And so the color in here is going to be, we're going to get our game state, get the right one, yep. Then we're going to create a peer cast, finally getting used to that. Then we're going to get our teams data. Move this over. We're going to do an array get. And then we're going to get team color and plug it right in. And the array get index we're going to get is get owning player. So whoever owns the widget, and then we want to get their player state. So we're doing this for every single player. You can see it's replicated. Then we're going to create a peer cast to the player state blueprint. Then we're going to get their team number, and then we're going to plug that into the get. So that's how that works. And yeah, so F7 and save, and that's really the hardest one. So we're pretty much in the clear now. We can just rock and roll through the rest of this. So that's bound. Everything's good. So now we just need to add a size box, like we've been doing, into the overlay. Like so, yeah, that'll work. Set it to fill, and we want a height override of 32. And that'll work fine. And then we need a horizontal box so we can display all this data horizontally. And then we need a size box inside of there. Aha, that's been hiding. Size box. So the next size box is a height override. Let's go like 28, 20, let's go 24 or 26. Give it a little bit of padding on each, on the bottom and top. And we want 120, what, we use 96 I think for the width. Not 95, 96. And we want it to align to the right and vertically align center. And that is good. Then we're just gonna put in a text block, which we're gonna make sure it's a variable. That's gonna be text ping, and it's gonna align to the right and center. And this is gonna be a placeholder. We'll go ping, and we'll set this to 18, and that should work just fine. Then let's bind, create binding, get ping underscore text, and this one's very extremely easy. We just get ping, then we go to int. So we take the byte value to an integer, we multiply it by 4, like so. Then we just plug it in. Alright, that's done. Then let's put an image in to the horizontal box, I believe, and let's give it a x value of 4, just like we've been doing. And let's use not black, let's go mid-gray. Yeah, that looks nice. Next, let's add one more text into the horizontal box, and this will be player name, and bind it to a property of player name, just like that. That's easy. Set its size to the same as the other one, 18, and let's set it to the same center. And this one can horizontally align fill, and then we want to fill this one. We set the other one to 6, so set this one to 6. We want it all to line up. We might have to do some tweaking, but that's fine. We'll do that another time. Then just duplicate the image. So let's copy and paste it into the horizontal box. Might as well paste it in there again because we're going to need it again. Then add a size box. So actually just copy the ping one, copy and paste it into the horizontal box. Then move the image down into below it. So just plug it into the horizontal box. It'll go like that. And take the ping size box, and it'll be fine just on its own, but we want it left aligned. And then the text inside of it isn't the pings, it's going to be text kills. Text doesn't kill, but it's going to be for our kills. Oh, I make myself laugh. And this is going to be placeholder kills. Size 18, yep, that's all fine. Fine and dandy. And then we want to bind, create binding, get kills underscore text. And this one's very easy, very easy. We just take kills and we just return it. F7, save while we're at it, just in case. Next up, so we got the image in there, the what do you call it, the splitter. So then we just need one more, which is death. So just take the text kills and paste it into the horizontal box and replace this with deaths. And we want this one, that's fine, but the text we want, actually it should be fine too. we're gonna make this easy on ourselves. We're gonna duplicate this function, and we're just gonna do get deaths text and just make sure it's open, and then replace kills with deaths like so, and then bind it. Compile, try that again, deaths, bind, get deaths text. There we go, done and done. Graph, I think that's all we need. Yep, that should be good. So just compile and save, and everything should work now. So we'll test that out in the next episode, because this is getting really long now. Yeah, compile, save. But I think we did put the logic in there, because if we go to project settings, input, we set tab, show killboard. So where did we put that into the player controller, I think, right? Let's check it out. Player controller was the base character. Yeah, show killboard. It's just show killboard. I don't think does anything yet. No, because that's gonna be going in our main HUD. It's gonna be in here. I guess we can quickly add it. Although we have compilers. What do we have compilers from? Oh, there we go. Okay, I guess they went away. You gotta watch out on that when you're packaging a game. So what we want to do is we want to add a size box. This will be very quickly. This will be very quick. That is, add a size box to our canvas panel. And let's, where should we anchor it to? Let's anchor it to all four corners. Offset left, so it should be like 256. Offset top, should be like 256. I don't know, I'm just guessing here. Offset right, 256, 256. We'll just totally guess. And width and height override, we know that, so we want 124 by 124, and that should be fine. The visibility we need to bind, so create binding, and this one we're gonna call let's go get KD board, or whatever we called it, visibility. That'll work, and then let's just do a quick select, same as before, except instead of collapsed it's going to be hidden, because we don't want to collapse it, we just want it to be hidden but still there and updating. And visible, and our index is going to be a simple or boolean based on our HUD, like so. And then we want to get B show killboard. See, now I'm confusing the names up. And we want to also get game state, do a peer cast to it, and then we want to check if we are in our game summary. So if we're in the game summary, it'll show it, or if the player wants to show it, then it'll show it. Otherwise it'll be hidden. Compile and save. Let's go back to do the designer, and in the size box all we need to do is add a vertical box, and this will be our KD board container. Make sure it is a variable. We want it to horizontally align center, and we want it to vertically align top. And then all we need to do is go into our graph, go to our event graph, event on construct, we do all that stuff, and then we create scoreboard, or create widget of the board, widget underscore KD board, and the owning player, because we're replicating, get owning player, and then we get out our KD board container, and we add child. Target is panel widget, and do the plug and play again. So we can test that out now. So just compile and save. Let's save everything. Control S. Now all we have to do is play and hit tab, and there we have it. Prototyping game mode, 257 server. We have 180 minutes and 80 seconds apparently. I think I screwed up that math because that should be 3 minutes and 0 seconds, but that's okay. And yeah, and somehow I died, or it crashed. It crashed. Oh wait, no. Somehow I died. Okay. Whoa, what did I do now? Alright, so let's quickly play with 2 players. Just for fun, play. So as you can see, the client can see it. Now we're not getting, it won't update the rows yet because we haven't set up all the logic, but it is there, and that's really weird that it's killing me. We're gonna have some debugging to do, but it is there. We just need to do some debugging apparently. Yes. A little bit, but slowly getting there. That's cool. Slowly getting there. And I just realized something. We don't need to expose all of those. I don't believe so. Yeah, no, what we want to do very quickly is go to our row. And the reason it's not working is because we don't have our team set up. We're not on a team right now, so that's why it's not showing any information. We still have a lot of work to go before that all starts to work, and then we can build our game on top of it. So we need our values here. This one is fine. B is local player. It's good just how it is. Let's see here. Yep, but player name, we don't need to expose on spawn, but we want it to be private. And same with ping and kills and deaths. So we'll compile and save that. And I just figured out, you know why it was automatically killing me? That is because we set up in our base character our lifetime. Where did we set that up? Custom events. Yeah, event possessed set lifespan. Event unpossessed set lifespan. Oh, why the heck is in lifespan 8 seconds? There should be 0 on event possessed. Somehow I hit 8. So I just fixed that bug myself. Or by accident. I mean, now we should be fine. Now we shouldn't die. Although I'm not doing damage because we got rid of the damage stuff because we started creating our own damage stuff because I said we needed that modifier so that we can modify damage based on classes and such, and that requires a blueprint interface. So we'll get into that in one of these videos, but we'll start building some more functionality in the next class. But that is a kill and death list, and it works once we get everything else tied in and all the functionality built. So thanks for watching from the team here at UnrealTech.net. If you enjoyed this video, please like it, subscribe. We also take donations. If you didn't like this video, please tell us why. So we'll see you next time. Remember, create your way.